It's Thursday, January 31st, 2019. And as you can see by the title, Fallout 76, it's your fault. Why is it your fault? Well, because you've been letting Bethesda get away with this crap for years. Ever since Oblivion, which came out in 2006. Bethesda's been releasing broken games for years and then fixing them later. Now, the reason I'm bringing this back up is because I see recently that now fans are complaining about a patch that was done for Fallout 76. So ever since this game has come out, people have done nothing but complain about it. Then they've whined and they bitched and they pissed and they moaned. And it's like, it's your fault. It's your fault if you bought Oblivion, if you bought New Vegas, if you bought Fallout 3, if you bought Fallout 4, if you bought Skyrim. It's your fault because you have let Bethesda get away with selling you broken merchandise and then always saying they'll fix it later. And you'll sit there and you'll look at the glitches and you'll go, oh, it's Bethesda. It's quirky. It's funny because it's Bethesda and that's why it's okay. Then they release a game that you're not crazy about. And now they're the bad guys. Remember, these are the same people that released Oblivion. 94% on Metacritic. They released Skyrim. 94% on Metacritic. Fallout 3, 91%. Fallout New Vegas, 84%. Fallout 4, 87%. They've always gotten high scores, and the user scores aren't much lower. User scores, they tend to go up a little bit towards the middle of the run or whatever, but they're still not much below these. Critics usually rate things a little higher than the fans do. But these are big numbers. And the games were always released glitchy and buggy. Oblivion, buggy and glitchy. Fallout 3, glitches abound. Fallout New Vegas, game crashes a lot. Skyrim, the dragons fly backwards. Fallout 4, some game mechanics were not working correctly at launch. They've done it since 2006, maybe even before that. They've released games in broken states. Now, Todd Howard, when they released this game, said, we're going to need your help, which means even they didn't know what they were going to do with this game. Now, you're going to say to yourself, well, they're a AAA publisher. They should know. In this day and age, you don't know what people are going to whine about. You don't know how much they're going to complain. And boy, did Fallout 76 get a lot of complaints. The other games had bugs. They had glitches. Nobody complained that much. People complained a little bit, but they still just said, it's just Bethesda. They're quirky. They release them. They fix them. It'll be fine. Well, guess what? If people would have given this the chance, Fallout 76, they would have fixed the problems. Because they would have figured out what people really wanted to do in this massive open world. If you would have just been constructive with your criticism, if you would have stuck around and played the game. But no, instead, you just complained, you whined, you stopped playing. Why? They've had a track record of fixing their glitches, fixing their bugs. Remember when Grand Theft Auto Online came out? There wasn't a lot to do in Grand Theft Auto Online. There was some stuff, and it crashed all the time. It was buggy. The servers weren't always working. It's now one of the most popular online games on the planet. It has made billions. But this game, for some reason, gathered all of your ire together, and you all wanted to whine and complain about it. Why? Why was this the straw that broke the camel's back? It's the same stuff they've been doing for years. And now you're getting angry. It doesn't make any sense. People talked about the PvP. It takes too long to kill somebody who doesn't want to fight back. Dumbass, move on. If they don't want to fight back, leave them alone. I mean, how stupid are you to stand in front of somebody and keep shooting their avatar when they don't want to fight back? They're just going to stand there, and you're going to look like a moron because you just keep shooting at them, and it takes forever to kill them. Stupid. Move past it. Go find somebody that does want a PvP. Quit complaining about the ones that don't. There were people in the game, they didn't want a PvP. They just wanted to play with their friends. So Bethesda did what they could, which was, okay, we'll make it tough to kill people that don't want to fight. figuring that most intelligent people would go up to somebody, shoot them a few times, and go, oh, well, they're not going to fight back. I'll go find somebody else. No. There were people that would stick around for however long it took to 10, 15 minutes to dwindle down their health, and they would just stand there and do it. How unintelligent are you as a human being if you're going to stand there just picking it away at somebody who doesn't want to fight back? That means you're a bully. That means you're a loser. Freaking go find somebody else to PvP with. Quit picking on somebody that doesn't want to do it. Some of the complaints were just ridiculous. You guys have been letting Bethesda get away with this for years. And you didn't complain that much because you always knew Bethesda would fix it. Well, guess what? If the numbers would have stayed big, if people would have understood that this is the way the game is now, give Bethesda a chance to fix it. 2 years from now, this game could be phenomenal. It could be right up there with Grand Theft Auto Online. But we'll never know because people went away. And then people complained about this stupid $200. If you spent $200 on Fallout 76 and the thing you're complaining about is the nylon bag, holy crap, dude. It's like if you look in a lot of those little disclaimers about those promo pictures, they always say somewhere, final product may not be exactly what you get. So these people that were complaining about the nylon bag and it being a canvas bag, you're talking about $5 worth of material. On a $200 item, you're complaining about $5 worth of material? What were you going to use the bag for? Do you think you would have looked cool carrying around a Fallout 76 bag everywhere you went? Probably not. Probably look like the loser that you are for spending $200 on it. Why would you spend $200 on something that, especially when you know Bethesda, is going to release it glitchy and buggy? If you spent $200 on it, you should just be happy with it. I'm sorry. That's just the way I feel. If you're going to spend $200 on something, you're going to complain about the nylon bag that's in it. There were many other problems to complain about probably in that bag. You got to realize if you spend $200 on something, you're going to get probably $50 worth of actual merch because of markup. They want to make money. They're not going to give you a lot of high quality stuff in there, kids. That helmet thing looked cheap. I'd be complaining more about that. It's like that helmet looked cheap. It had a couple of little buttons you pressed on it. That's the thing I'd be complaining about. But I wasn't dumb enough to spend that much money on a plastic helmet and a bag that was the biggest concern for a lot of people. It wasn't made of canvas. I would have loved this whole thing if it was just a canvas bag. My guess is you'd have found something else in there to complain about. And it probably would have been the helmet if you didn't have the little nylon cheap bag to complain about instead. Maybe that was Bethesda being smart. Maybe they put in that cheap bag so you wouldn't complain about the cheap helmet you got. You paid $200 for a helmet that probably cost them $25 to make. So you have to understand, it's called retail. It's called consumerism. They put in a little piece of thing for you, and then they try to make as much profit as they can off of it. It's just the way it works, kids. It's consumerism. So if you're complaining about Fallout 76 still, and you're complaining that the game was released, bro, guess what? It's how Bethesda always does it. But now think about this. You have Elder Scrolls 6 coming out at some point. Not for a long time. Because Bethesda cannot afford to take a hit on their Elder Scrolls franchise. Now, even Elder Scrolls, the Tamriel online game, I guess had some bugs and glitches, but it wasn't really developed. I don't know the whole story with that. But it released a little bit on difficult. But it was a Bethesda game. And they fixed it. And I hear Elder Scrolls Online is one of the better online games that's out there now. You have to give Bethesda a chance to fix it. The fact that the people that did jumped in and then abandoned it immediately means that they're never going to give it the time of day that it really needs to get to be a much better game. They're still going to support it. They're still going to release stuff for it. But I have a feeling they're not going to release as much stuff because let's face it. If not that many people are playing the game, they're not going to piss off that many people when they don't support it, are they? So, let's face it, Elder Scrolls Skyrim or Elder Scrolls 6, don't expect to see that game for a long time. because they're going to try to make sure that that game doesn't have very many bugs in it. It'll still have a couple because it's hard to release a AAA title without it. But it's going to be a lot more polished. Now, you can say what you want. Well, it's a AAA company. They're a big company. They shouldn't release games in this condition. You've let them get away with it for 14 years almost, 13 years. Since March 20th of 2006, you've been letting Bethesda get away with this stuff with their two mainline franchises of the Elder Scrolls series and Fallout. And now you expect the games to release in perfect condition and have everything you've always wanted in every one of your games. That makes no sense. It's not totally Bethesda's fault. You enabled them. If you let somebody get away with something 100 times, they're going to do it 101 times. They're going to do it until you slap their hand and tell them no. Well, guess what? They finally got a slap on the hand, but you're the ones bitching about it because you let them get away with it for so long. Fallout 76 is your fault. Make no mistake about it. If you bought any one of those other Bethesda games, it's your fault. And the fact that you're blaming them for something you've been letting them get away with for 13 years, it doesn't make any sense to me. Todd Howard himself said, we're going to need your help with this game. And you decided you didn't want to put in the work to help them out. It's your fault. Deal with it.